Alright, so today I've got my 0FX and I need to take my rear wheel off because I've got some snapped spokes that I need replacing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the process of taking this bad boy off. It shouldn't be too hard. What you're going to need is a 27mm socket for the axle nut and a 13mm open end wrench for detention adjustment. So basically all you want to do is you want to crack this loose, make sure it's off of there, and then loosen up this nut here at the end. And then once it's loose, once you got room, I'm just going to loosen this axle nut now. Oh man, that's on there good. Alright, once it's loose, now it's time to jack it up. I'm going to finish taking off this axle nut. And then all we're going to have to do is get this bolt out of here. And just use that block of wood. Never use a hammer, it'll hurt the threads. And then on the other side, all you gotta do is lift up and pull it on out. So here's our axle slider pin. I'll put that somewhere where it's not going to get nasty and greasy. And then it should be as easy as pushing this wheel up, getting that chain off of there, and then bam, slides right on out. And there it is. Alright, so I've got the wheel off here. Now I need to deflate this and get the valve stem off. We're getting the tire off now so we can get to changing the spokes. Taking my valve stem tool. Alright, it is deflated, so now I am going to remove the valve stem. Alright, there's our tiny little valve stem. Make sure you don't lose this. Alright, so now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this little lock nut that's on the valve stem, we gotta get rid of that. Nut is off. Alright, time for the fun part. Getting this tire off of here. I hate doing this shit. Alright, so my valve stem is here. Just put that over there and get to work. Trying to pop this bead. Alright, that was super easy. It's not always going to be easy like that, so take your time. Remember that your inner tube is in here still. If you're running an inner tube, you do not want to pop that inner tube. Just be another $20 cost that you don't want to make. Okay, so we're completely debeaded on this one side now. What I'm going to do is flip it over and do the other side. Oh man, this is not ideal. My chain sprocket is being leaned on, which isn't great. Now I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. Start on the opposite side to the valve stem. Bam. It's popped. And then just keep working your way around. You can use 2 tire irons if that makes it easier for you. Really just kind of do your thing. You can see the more you work it off, the easier it becomes. I'm not using a lot of force, but on the initial bead, the very first time, it's a little difficult. Okay. So working it around, made it all the way around. Now they're both de-beaded. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna lube it up a little bit. I just got some water and soap. Let's go ahead and hit that along the edge. Of the tire. Just get that all around here. It'll make things a lot easier from here on out. Go ahead and flip it and do it on the other side too. Alright, now that you got your tire lubed up, we need to get the tire bead off the rim on one side. And again, I like to start opposite to the valve stem, so the valve stem is right here where my tire iron is. I'm going to start over here on this side. Basically what you want to do is use your tire iron to pop the sidewall away from the rim, and again, be very careful. Your inner tube is in here and you do not want to pop that. Alright, so I feel I got it. Now what I'm going to do is leverage it up over the rim. I'll take the next one and I'll try to get a few inches away and do the same thing here. This can be tricky. What I'm doing is I'm holding it with one arm and then getting the next tire iron in with my other arm. And it should pop right on out. And you'll see I'll leave this one in and then keep working these two around. Oh man, I do not have a good stand. I recommend getting a good stand or an actual tire changer stand. Alright, just keep moving this around. Keep working your way around the rim. Dang. It's actually de-beaded already. So, one side is completely de-beaded. Alright, now we gotta get the inner tube out of the tire. Start on the valve stem side. Right here is where my valve stem is, where I'm pointing. And all we're gonna do is lift this tire up, get under, try to just get under this tire to pull this inner tube out. This is usually the hardest part for me. Oh, it's very tricky. And again, you want to be very careful not to pop this. All you do is kind of wiggle it out. Be careful of these teeth on your sprocket. Probably should have pulled it from the other side so that I'm not fighting with the teeth on the sprocket in hindsight. But we are almost there. Just keep working it around. Keep working it. bam, it's out. Alright, there's your inner tube. While it's out, definitely inspect it. Make sure everything looks good. Alright, now that we've got that off of there, we gotta get the second bead off of here. I think what I'm gonna do is go from this side. Oh, I'm real close. There you go. Once you get it, it kind of just pops off by itself. And there we go. Set that to the side. Now we can get to work on what we actually need to fix, which are these broken spokes. Alright, so looking at the rim here, just give you a quick example of what we're doing. We're replacing all of these broken spokes, so everywhere you see a nipple that is blank, I'm basically going to move the tire tape like so. This might be hard to video. Do this one-handed, and then all you're doing is you're popping it out, and bam, it comes right out. So that's all I'm doing. I'm going to make my way around here. I'll keep you set up so you can see it, but that's all we're doing. It should be pretty easy. Work your way around the rim and I'll be back in a second. All of the loose nipples are off. I've got one spoke that's still in here. If you don't know about lacing spokes, basically there's a way these need to go in order. I think it's every third needs to be done in order. So I'm going to have to figure out which ones I need to take off to get this one out. It looks like this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Could be why I'm snapping spokes. If they're super tight, doesn't give them any flex. And that's why I would be snapping spokes, so that makes sense to me. Right, now I can get that broken spoke out of there. Bam. What I'm going to do is I'll just put this right back in here so that I know it goes there. And now we gotta lace some spokes. But basically all I gotta do here is I'm going to be replacing, this is my new spoke, this is my new nipple. I'm going to be putting the nipple in there and then sliding through. Just show you real quick, I'll slide the spoke in like that, and then nipple would go in on this side, and you just keep working your way around. If you run into a problem where you can't get the spoke in because another spoke is in the way, just remove that spoke and keep working your way around. But without further ado, I am going to go ahead and get working. So again, you just kind of thread it on through. This is actually pretty tricky sometimes. Find me a little drill bit, and now I'm working my way around. That is how you replace a spoke, ladies and gents. Alright, now 5 more to go. Alright, I've got all the spokes replaced. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and torque every third nipple and spoke to make sure that they are at the correct torque settings. For this bike and these spokes, I should be sitting right at 6 foot-pounds of torque. This is actually a torque spoke wrench, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. Just tighten that every third bolt down. Alright, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you re-spoke your dirt bike run. If you guys have any questions about this, if you need any help or anything, drop your comments below. I'll be sure to respond as soon as I can. Alright, now we gotta get the tire back on here. Alright, 1B to set. For those that don't know how to install one of these valve stems, it's super easy. Slide her on in. And then all I do is I take my tool and we tighten it down, twist her on there. Once you start getting tight, that's good. You don't want it very tight because they will get stuck. Put this back in now. So valve stem goes over here on this side. I'm going to do that first. It's very important not to twist or crinkle. That will give you lots of problems down the line. Just be very careful here and go slow. Work your way around the rim. It is very tricky to get this valve stem seated correctly. Go ahead and get this in there more. There it is, pop that in there. Now get that lock nut on there ASAP so that the valve stem does not come through. Okay, now that we've got that in there, we need to reseat this bead on the top here. Just go ahead, grab your tire irons. Get to work. I tell you, again, work opposite to the tire valve. And again, inner tube's in now, so it's very important to be careful here. There we go. I am installing the rear wheel now. Not sure how good of an angle this is, but basically all you do is lift it on up in there, put your axle bolt through. Now I'm tightening it down on this side. One important thing is you got to make sure to line up the brake rotor with the caliper. Just make sure it goes in there. Try not to touch the rotor at all. I'm going to brake clean that afterwards in case I did touch it and grease got on it. But now I'm just tightening down this axle nut. Make sure you torque it to spec. I'm going to have to go look at the torque specs. Also, if it's jacked up, it might be a little hard to do. So I like to tighten it as much as I can, and then once it's back on the ground, retighten that. And do not forget to retighten that. That is important. Now what I'm going to do is lock up the axle nuts. Alright, now I'm going to lower the bike down. You should be good to go. Okay. Bam, just like that. We're back on the road, baby. Alright, that's going to be it for today, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Slap that subscribe button and follow along for more videos like this.